Hi everyone, how are you doing? I trust that you're having a good day. Alright, so today we're talking about a very important topic. Ever since we started the Visa to Anywhere Masterclass, I have been getting some emails, people sending me their visa denial letters for the UK, and I understand the reason why you're sending me those letters is because the first country that we processed visas for was the UK on the masterclass. Okay, and by the way, if you haven't joined the masterclass, I would tell you about it in a minute, okay? So people have been sending me emails talking about their previous visa denials, and I thought instead of just bringing their letters here, because I have to get permission from you guys to bring the letters here, to bring your denial letters here, I decided to go through the letters, the denial messages, and put together the reasons why the visa officer denied those visas. Okay, and I also added a few more that we can discuss and talk about, so that if you want to reapply, these are things that you have to guard against. And for those who are yet to apply for their UK visit visas, these are things you have to be careful of and guard against too. So this video is for you. Whether or not you have been denied a UK visit visa, this video is for you as long as you're planning to reapply. Now, to those who are yet to join our masterclass, it is still ongoing. My Visa to Anywhere Masterclass is a free masterclass where I apply for visas and show you my screen so that you know how to apply for the visa yourself. Okay, so if you're tired of using travel agents, or you're a travel agent or an aspiring travel agent or travel consultant, and you want to learn how to process visas for your clients, then the masterclass is for you and my channel is for you. So hit the subscribe button, and I will put the link to the masterclass in the description below. Make sure that you join. The masterclass community is an amazing community and you will be happy to be a part of it. All right, let's go on to the video for today, the topic for today. All right, now UK visit visas are essentially, I wanted to say essentially important, but they are essential, especially if you have somebody in the UK or you have an interest to go to the UK. There are so many beautiful places to see in the UK, all right? So it is actually cool if you want to visit the UK, especially as a Nigerian, all right? So let's go ahead to talk about the common reasons why people get denied their UK visas. Now, the first one I wrote here is insufficient documentation. I created a video talking about the documents that you need for UK visit visa. Also, on the masterclass, the UK video where I actually applied for visas, there are some of these things that I talk about, okay, the documents that you need to provide. So I'm not going to go into it here. I'm just going to link the videos in the description so you can go check it out, okay? I'm not going to do it here because I don't want this video to be long and I don't want to repeat something I have already taught you, okay? So ensure that your documents, your supporting documents are well organized and that they are complete. Whatever it is that you say in your application, make sure that you have documents to back it up, okay? If they ask you, for example, how much savings do you have? And you say, I have 3,000 euros or something like that, or I have 4 million naira, make sure that your closing balance in your proof of funds, that is your bank statement, preferably has that amount of money, okay? So ensure that your supporting documents are organized and are complete. If you tell them I'm staying at a hotel, make sure you have your hotel reservation. If you tell them on your visa application, I have a host that is hosting me and I'll be staying in their house, make sure that you have proof of that. Your host has to write to the embassy that you will be staying with them, and you also have to have the details of your host, like the passport biodata page and so on and so forth, okay? So you have to have complete and organized documentation. Now, the next one is financial stability, and this is particularly proof of funds, okay? I have created a video on proof of funds and I'm going to link it in the description, so make sure that you watch it because I'm not going to be explaining proof of funds on this video. All right, but make sure that your proof of funds is adequate for your trip. Applications vary, okay? You might be going for 2 weeks, another person might be going for 2 months. So the proof of funds that you need for 2 weeks is different from the person staying for 2 months. It's going to be different, definitely. Okay, so you figure out how much do you think you need in your proof of funds. You can also find out from your travel agent or travel consultant, okay? If you're staying for 2 weeks, how much do you need? How much you need for that 2 weeks also depends on if you're staying in a hotel or if you have a host that's hosting you, because you have to pay for your hotel and so on and so forth. And if the person is hosting you, if they would also be taking care of your feeding. So it varies, okay? And so you have to be sure that your proof of funds is adequate for your trip. If not, you might be denied. And of course, this is a major reason why a lot of people get denied visas. And that is why I created a video specially for proof of funds. Okay, I talked about the importance of proof of funds, how to grow your proof of funds, how to present your proof of funds, and common mistakes that people make with their proof of funds. Okay, I had a client who told me that her proof of funds was on point, and she even had more than the money that she displayed in the application form, but then she was still denied a visa. Do you know why? In spite of the fact that she had more than enough money, she was still denied based on her proof of funds, because they asked her, do you have any other source of income? She said no. And so the visa officer said, you told us that this is the amount of money you earn monthly, but then there are unexplained large deposits made into your account that have not been accounted for, and therefore we will be denying you this visa and all that. And so she was wondering, why was I denied when I had more than enough? So it is very, very tricky. Okay, you need to watch that video about the mistakes that we make with proof of funds, because I broke everything down and told you what exactly to do. Number 3 is the purpose of your visit. Now, if you notice, in UK application and in Canada application, if you haven't joined the masterclass, please join the masterclass, because people who have joined the masterclass would understand what I'm saying. Okay, in the UK application, they ask you, what visa do you want to get? Why are you visiting and everything. You would choose the visit visa. Okay, they will now ask you, what is the major reason why you want to visit family and friends, or for tourism. There's another box where they still ask you to state the purpose of your visit. Now, if you have chosen maybe tourism, right, in the previous option, and then in this new option you now choose, I want to see my sister, when the other option had to visit family or friends, you didn't choose that one. This new one, you say you want to see your sister. Then in another one, you now say, I want to go for a conference. So those are 3 things that are inconsistent. Do you understand? It's different if you say, I want to visit my sister and also do this and do that. If your purpose of visit is unclear or inconsistent, you will definitely be denied, because the visa officer would see you as a confused person. Like, what exactly are you coming to do in my country? And the visa officer might think this person is already showing suspicious activities, so we must not let him or her in. Do you understand what I'm saying? So please, let the purpose of your visit be clear. If you're coming for tourism, know the places that you're going to visit when you enter the UK, and make sure that you are clear and consistent with your purpose of visit. Okay? Now let's look at number 4. Number 4 is faulty immigration history. And when I talk about faulty immigration history, it means maybe you have previously been denied, or previously been banned, or you have previously committed some violations or overstays in the UK or in previous countries. They're going to ask you those questions. And so the UK is going to look at your backlog, your history, your travel history. Now, by travel history this time, I don't just mean the countries that you've been to, but I'm talking about the history of your travel in terms of the countries that you've been to, the kind of visas that you've gotten, and whether you overstayed in those countries or not. So if you have ever been banned, maybe from the UK or from any other country, or you have a ban running from maybe Canada or another country, or maybe you have overstayed in your past visits to other countries, then it is going to be a problem. Okay, so you need to clear that immigration history by maybe explaining why you overstayed in that previous country. Okay, maybe you fell ill and you had to stay back for treatment, or you were not fit enough to travel, or you tried to extend your visa and it wasn't approved, and then you found yourself overstaying. You need to explain those things, okay? Because if you do not explain those things, they're going to assume that you are a rebel and that you have the habit of overstaying and of violating countries' rules, and so they will not allow you into their own country. Okay, so you need to be mindful of that. All right, so the last one here under the reasons, we're going to finish talking about the reasons, and then we'll talk about, in phase 2, we'll talk about the solutions, okay, to improve your application. All right, so now the 5th one is employment and ties to home country. I've created a video talking about proof of ties, how to adequately show and present your proof of ties. So if you have not watched that video, I don't know what you're waiting for. So make sure you watch that video. I'm going to drop it in the description below. you need to know how to demonstrate adequate proof of ties. Now, proof of funds is a different video altogether, and it's a different issue altogether. I talked adequately about your proof of funds, but proof of ties is also extremely important, because if you do not have ties to your home country, let's say you have weak ties to your home country, you will not be granted that visa, because they would assume that you are not really going to come back, okay, from that country. So it is very, very important, all right, to show adequate proof of ties. I have done that for you. I put the video together for you, so just go watch it, okay? Now let's talk about phase 2, part 2 of this video, solutions to improve your application. I wanted to make it another video, but I feel like since it's the same thing we're talking about, let's just do it in this video, okay? The first solution to improve your application is to thoroughly review your documentation. Now, it is something that I mentioned in the masterclass. Whenever I am applying for a visa for a client, I look through at least 3 times. I am telling you, I look through at least 3 times. I have a checklist. If you want, I can drop the checklist also here. I can drop a link to the checklist here. So if you want the checklist for your documentation, just comment checklist, okay? Drop it in the comment section as I'm talking now, please, so that you don't forget. Drop it in the comment section now. Drop checklist in the comment section, okay? Now, there's a checklist that I created for you for people who are going to the UK on a visit visa, okay? I'll show you the ones that are essential and the ones that are not so essential, depending on the kind of visa and what you're going to do in that country, okay, in the UK, all right? So make sure that you thoroughly check your documentation. Double check and triple check if possible, okay? All right, so when I have an application, I have a checklist. I tick that checklist. I ensure that everything that I wrote on the application, I have the documents handy, and that the information in the document and in the application actually correlates. That is very, very important. Now, the second one I wrote here, the second solution that I wrote here is financial planning. You need to plan your finances. In the proof of funds video, I mentioned that if I know that I will be traveling in about 7 or 8 months, I start putting the money together today, okay? And I start growing my proof of funds today, because by that time, you may not have the time to start growing your proof of funds, because sometimes they ask for 4 months, they ask for 6 months bank statement, okay? So please, you need to financially plan for your trip, both for yourself and for your proof of funds, okay? Because the visa officer does not joke with financial planning. So ensure that you show financial stability. That is one way of showing adequate proof of ties as well. You need to show financial stability for your trip, all right? And the documentation needs to be proper as well. Now, the next one I wrote here is clarity in purpose. You know, I talked about if your purpose for the trip is not clear enough for the visa officer or is not consistent, okay? This time, ensure that you clearly define and explain the purpose of your visit, and that you show adequate documentation to back it up. Okay, it's not just about clearly defining the purpose of your visit, but you need to show adequate documentation. I mentioned that if you have a host that's inviting you over, what do you need to do? You need to show documentation to show that that host is actually sending you a letter to the embassy, an invitation letter, and telling the embassy that this person is staying in my house, first of all. And you need to also show how are you related to this host. Okay, that's what I mean by, you know, supporting documents. You need to show how you're related to this host. You need to show the passport biodata page of your host, or the ILR if they have an ILR. You need to show those things to show that, look, this person is a person of good standing in the UK, and the person is going to be housing me, and the host is also going to mention in the letter that they are very sure that you would go back at the time that you're supposed to go back. You're not going to be overstaying or working illegally, because you will put that host in trouble if you ever do that. Okay, number 4 solution is you need to address any past immigration issues. Okay, there's a space on your application where they give you time, they give you space to actually address any immigration issue, any denial, any violation. So make sure that you address it as good as possible. Okay, give your honest reasons and be honest. That is extremely important. Okay, there was a time that I was applying for a visa for a client. That was to Canada though, not UK. And they asked the client, have you ever been denied a Canadian visa, you know, a visa to Canada or any other country? And the client said no. Do you know that they actually flagged it because the client had been denied a visa to the US long ago, and this client decided to hide it from me, and I also selected no. Do you get me? And so they flagged it, and then when they sent the denial message, they told the client, you have been denied a US visa. We asked you this question. Have you been denied a visa in Canada or any other country? You said no. I feel like the client was hoping that they wouldn't find out. Well, my dear, some of these countries actually share database, especially the US and Canada. They share database a lot. Okay, you will discover it. Okay, if you frequently make visa applications, you will discover that some countries, a lot of countries share database. So there is nowhere to hide really, and there is no need to hide. You just say yes and give your reason, okay, and hope for the best, basically. Ensure that every other aspect of your application is on point as well, so that they will not have a reason to deny you, even in spite of your past immigration-wise, okay? All right, so the next one is the last solution. Number 5 solution is that you need to strengthen your ties to your home country. Like I said before, there's a video I have created on proof of ties. If you can get 99.9% of the things I mentioned in that video, there is no way you will be denied a visa if everything else is on point. So please go check it out. All right, go check out that proof of ties video. It will help you a lot, okay, to help you to strengthen your ties to your home country. I don't want this video to be too long, and so I'm not going to dwell on that, but please go check out that video, okay? Now, if I have given you any piece of information or you have liked this video so far, please click on the like button, and please, I would like you to do me the favor of sending this video to somebody you care about, somebody that you know is interested in travel or immigration. Please send this video to them so that they can also learn from it, all right? And also, if you know that you're the kind of person that's interested in learning about visa and immigration news and policies, please click on the subscribe button, okay? You don't even have to click. You can hit the subscribe button, whichever one you want to do. Just make sure you subscribe, okay? Because when you subscribe and you like my content, YouTube shows me to other people who are interested in travel and immigration. Thank you very much for being a support to this channel. I will see you in the next video.